AM 1170, The Answer, KCBQ.
Oh, we got some music, man. What music is this, Sydney?
Put me on the spot.
What we got here?
I don't know, some sort of funk.
Yeah. Todd, what do we got?
Jazzy
Todd, what do we
funk.
got? What is that?
This is generic bumper music number 53.
Oh,
I told you, jazzy funk.
Jazzy funk. Wow. Yeah. Nowadays, we can't play certain music,
Creating
right?
a new genre.
It's crazy nowadays with radio and all the things
Generic
going on.
bumper 53. I love it.
Generic 53. All right, you're listening to AM 1170, The Answer. This is Whissel Wednesday. Your co-host, Jason Hall with Team Home Loans, in studio with my good friend and the host, the stud of San Diego, I like to say. One of the top real estate agents, but definitely the number one real estate team in San Diego the last 3 years per the Wall Street Journal, Mr. Kyle Whissel. We were just going to break. We were talking about Sky Ranch. We've got Sydney in, who's another stud appraiser, lives right here locally in San Diego. And we have on the line, actually joining in this segment, Peter Rutman. Peter is a tax preparer, and we'll go into a little bit more of that a little bit later. But let's talk about Sky Ranch or any other listings you've got, because I know you guys I'm seeing stuff on Facebook all the time, new listings coming. So what's going on?
Yeah, so Sky Ranch is probably the premier community in all of Santee and one of the premier communities in all of East County, San Diego. So you get new construction, you get insane views, killer sunset views. Most of the houses have pools. The condos have one of the coolest pools of any condo community I've seen in San Diego. So killer community, and a lot of the deals that happen up there happen off market.
Right.
So,
and just so I know, so that people understand, Sky Ranch is located in Santee, but where?
in the sky,
It is like in the sky.
on a ranch.
So it's literally, for those that are trying to understand where exactly Sky Ranch is, if you take the intersection of 67 and 52, right where 52 dead ends at 67, it's the hill right there, and they built these amazing homes. The smallest home's, about 2,500 square feet, and the largest home's about, 5,000 square feet?
Yep.
And so you have these amazing homes, some with ocean views.
Believe it or not, you can have an ocean view in
From
Santee.
Santee. And no one ever...
Who would have thunk
Only
it?
on a clear day.
Yes.
Yeah.
At this
As an
time of
appraiser,
year is actually
Standing on
when
your-
you have
standing
the
on your
ocean
shoebox.
views.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the time of year you get ocean views in East County. I've shown property in Julian that has an ocean view.
Right. So you were talking about off-market.
Yes.
So what do you mean by off-market?
So the big thing right now is there's a huge shortage of homes for sale on the market. In a normal market, we have about 6 months worth of homes for sale. Right now, we've got about 2 months worth of homes for sale. So we got about a third of what we traditionally see on the market. There's just a lot less people selling homes right now. And a lot of the times we have sellers reach out to us and we're able to put a deal together before it ever even hits the market because we've got 40,000+ buyers in our database that are looking for homes. So a lot of times we can make a deal happen without even going on the MLS.
And I know you did that with one of your neighbors recently, right?
Yeah, so we've got one in escrow right now, killer 3,300 square foot house, insane views. We just put that in escrow. I've got 2 more coming up that are in the condos up there.
So what are the
and
kind
their
of price ranges?
condos start around 400 up to about 500,
Okay.
and they've got anywhere from 2 to 4 bedroom.
So you're talking
floor
a payment
plans.
of like $2,000 to $3,000, depending on what rate, what down payment, what your credit score is. But it gives you an idea. $2,000 to $3,000, you can live right there in the community of Sky Ranch.
Yeah, it's cheaper than renting. So we've got a couple condos coming up. So I mean, if you're interested in learning about the Sky Ranch community, you want access to something before it goes public, give us a call or shoot us a text, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355.
Kyle, do you feel that values on those new construction, are they above or below the appraised value? Are people putting in 10+ grand over the appraised value just to get those kind of properties, since you are saying the market, there's a scarcity of sales out there?
Yeah, I mean, people are just offering crazy numbers because there's so much competition. They know that if they want this house, they've really got to go for it, and they've got to put their best foot forward, and sometimes their best foot is more than what the true value of the home is. So that's always where our struggle is in a rapidly appreciating market is, the last sale was at $360 and we just go in escrow at $370 or $380, and how do we justify that with an appraiser? So that's
And since
one
we
of our
have an
struggles.
appraiser right there, Sydney, so you see deals like that all the time.
All the time.
So how
yeah.
do you handle that when you know the property value is probably not going to appraise a purchase price, but a good agent like Kyle gives you 10 offers, everybody was over the last comp. How do you justify the current market? What are some of the things you do as an appraiser?
Well, I think what we first start out as is finding out what the trend is going in that market area. So once we figure out the trend and what has sold, because the idea is everything that we look at is history, right? So everything is already closed. But in a market area like that, what we tend to do is praise it for what it's worth. There's always the added amenities or options that a person can add to that property. And we're figuring out, well, how much market value is associated with that. But I mean, it's a really tough question to answer because there's no really one way to do it. It's in the moment, what is selling, what the trend is like. We can't necessarily go with the offers because we understand the market right now. There is a scarcity of homes and rates may be rising. So people are feeling like they may get priced out. So
they're making, crazy offers sometimes.
They're making
but that's
crazy
why,
offers. Yeah.
One of the nice things I've seen Kyle do for years is he always finds not only the best offer, but an offer he knows is going to close. So he either talks to that lender or has that lender, do a cross approval package, make certain that buyer can afford it. And even if it does come 5, 10, 20 grand under appraisal, make sure that buyer has the funds to make up the difference, that they know up front that, hey, this is that type of home that you're going to have to be willing to pay over the appraisal. And then, of course, what Kyle likes to do is once that closes, now you have a good comp, Sydney, as the next property. So he starts knocking on the neighbors like, hey, we just sold this thing 20, 30 over appraisal.
That's what happens.
Now it's easier for you, right, to comp the next sell. Because now you have a comp.
Well, it is. And depending on how large the development is in new construction, you'll find that in phase 1 and phase 3, there's a huge value difference. And so when we start, if there's a development that might have 10 phases and they're on phase 5 and there's a trend per phase that you can see the growth in value, that can also be attributed when I'm looking at, okay, well, the buyers are purchasing a property in phase 5. By the time it gets to phase 7, based on this trend over the last year and a half, 2 years, this is where the value would end up. And we actually can plug in those equations when we're looking at market increases and making those sorts of adjustments. So,
all right, nice. Nice. Hey, Peter, we got you on the phone there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, Peter, what's your exact title?
Well, I've got about 20 licenses, one of them as an enrolled agent, but I'd like to comment briefly on what Kyle had said. I get involved in a lot of real estate transactions, consulting on them, what have you, and it's 100% true. I haven't seen in the last, 2 or 3 years, anything go at the market value per se. I mean, the agents that we work with, they consistently, if they want to get the deal, they will place an offer over the asking price, period.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm used to, and I have to deal with that.
Right. So you being a tax guy, so you've been an IRS tax guy, you handle people's CPA tax returns. What type of challenges that you've seen the last few years with the real estate market increasing? Anything that you can think of or things that people should be aware of?
Well, 2 things specifically. One is the financing side of things, people getting to qualify for the loans, and sometimes that's a struggle, as you well know. And then the second thing has to do with people buying rental properties or converting their homes to rental properties, and then they just sell them without realizing there's tax consequences to that. So sometimes we have to deal with that after the fact. We go into emergency mode, because of the tax consequences.
Right. That happens a lot. So I think what you're referring to is that, I lived in this house in the last 5 years. I've bought a new house. I don't need to sell my house. So I go, you know what? The market's doing good. Let's go ahead and just rent this house out. And then another year or two's gone by, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I should probably sell that house now. They sell it, and then they're like, oh, I live there. I should be able to write it off. And you find out not necessarily because now you've rented it. And so it kind of works kind of odd to that, right, Peter? And that's why you want to seek out a true professional, not only a real estate professional handle your real estate, but you also want to seek out a tax professional so that you're not making a huge mistake. And I'm certain you've seen this happen where people thought they weren't going to have any income tax on the sale of that home. They've already sold it. The agent never told them, check with the CPA. They close, and then you send them, give them a heads up that, hey, you got now a $20,000 bill that they weren't expecting.
Yes, sir. And $20,000, it would be a low number in some of the situations. And another anomaly is parents who want to give property to their children. You can't just gift a piece of property without any tax consequences. It's different after the parents have passed, but while they're living, there's actual tax consequences, transferring ownership.
So, Peter, I have a
yeah.
quick question for you. When dealing with trust, and when you're doing a step up in basis, maybe mom or dad passes away, and you leave the property to one of the children. How important is your role in avoiding capital gains on that property when it's gifted, to the next of kin or spouse?
As part of the estate process, we get involved sometimes reporting the value of the assets and the tax consequences, and then if there's rental income, all of that. But to answer your question directly, what usually happens, there's a stepped-up basis. It's actually more than one way of doing this, but in general terms, the date of death is used as the trigger point for the basis of the property, and then if they sell the property or it's transferred in ownership within a reasonable time frame, there's no tax consequences, as a rule. If they try to do it while they're living, though, then that's when I have to step in, or if I'm lucky, I get a phone call, I get a warning, and I'm able to fix it ahead of time.
Yeah, and the sooner people reach out is the better, right? I mean, that's just smart tax planning.
Please.
But let me ask you that.
Yep.
Speaking of reaching out, I know you can always get a hold directly of anybody on the show by texting. This goes directly to Kyle, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. But Peter, do you have any specific website or phone number that if somebody wants to find you and find a true tax professional that lives right here in San Diego that knows the IRS guidelines like nobody else I've met in 30 years in this business, what's a way they can reach out to you?
I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number, which is 858-278-8500.
All right.
8500. And you can call evenings and weekends. It's quite all right.
This guy's, he loves doing taxes. He's one of those, nerdy, fun guys that just loves his taxes.
He's
right?
very good.
And he's got a great home in, was it the Kensington area? Or not real close to Kensington, right? What's the exact area?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Normal Heights.
Normal Heights. To me, it's all San Diego, right? But a beautiful
not
home.
for an appraiser. Normal Heights is vastly different from Kensington. Let me make that very clear.
Yeah. Which one's better?
Kensington. Right?
Oh, sorry there, Peter. Sorry, Peter. That's funny. All right, we're getting ready to go to a break. We're going to continue on talking real estate, talking appraisals, and talking taxes. Again, you're listening to AM 1170 The Answer. This is Whissel Wednesday. We'll be right back.
AM 1170 The Answer. KCBQ.